Hello and welcome to another Orange Coast College mathematics video. In this video, we're going to learn to multiply monomials, monomials being polynomials that have one term. Now, before we begin, a couple of things on prerequisites. So, understanding how to multiply exponential terms. So, suppose I have something like x raised to the n power, and I multiply it by some x raised to the m power. So the base of each exponent is the same, but maybe they have different exponents, or they have the same exponents. Then the way we can multiply this is by simply adding up the exponents. So this is like, if you think about this, is you're multiplying x by itself n times. This is x by itself m times. So that means you should have a total of n plus m copies of x you're multiplying. Okay, so if you understand that, along with the distributive property, that's all you should need to know. Here's our first example. Now, to begin, we want to multiply this monomial times this one. And so the way we do this is just to multiply corresponding variables. So we can multiply the non-variable parts or factors, so 3 and 4. Multiplying those together give us 12. And then we multiply the variables that are the same. So x squared here and x to the 5th here. So x squared times x to the 5th is going to be x to the 2 plus 5. Which is x to the 7th. And then finally, the y factors, we have y cubed and y to the 1st. So remember, there's no exponent here, but it's just y to the 1st. So it's y cubed times y to the 1st. That's going to be y to the 3 plus 1, which is 4. And that's it. Here's our second example. Now, this is actually a polynomial. It has two terms. We want to multiply it by this monomial. And the way we do that is by utilizing the distributive property. So I'm going to take this, and since I'm multiplying this monomial by this entire polynomial, the way we do that is by multiplying it by each term in there. So multiply this times this term, and then we multiply this by this term as well. So I'm going to just visually draw this as doing it like this. Okay, so we do the first one first. So we have negative 5 times 2 is negative 10. Okay, we'll have a times a. So a to the first times a to the first will be a to the 1 plus 1, so a squared. And then we have b squared times b, so that's b squared times b to the first. That will have a product of b cubed. Okay, that was this term times the first term. Now we multiply negative 5ab squared times the second term, negative 8a to the 4th. So now I have negative 5 times negative 8. It's going to give me positive 40. Okay, and then we have a to the first times a to the 4th will give us a to the 5th. And then b squared, there's no b factor here, so it's just b squared times 1, I guess, gives you b squared. And that's all there is to it. Here's our final example. Again, we have this monomial times this polynomial, and the way we multiply it is by distributing the monomial to each term here. So I have to multiply this guy 2uv to the 4th times each of the terms in there. Okay, so first we'll do this one. So 2uv to the 4th times negative u squared. So we basically have 2 times negative 1 is negative 2. U to the 1st times u squared is going to be u cubed. And then v to the 4th times 1, I guess, is v to the 4th. Okay, since there's no v factor here, you just carry it over. It's just v to the 4th. Okay. And now we have the second term. So we're going to have 2 times positive 3 is 6. So positive 6. We have u times u will give us u squared. And then we have v to the 4th times v to the 1st will give us v to the 5th power. And then finally we have our last term. Okay, so we're going to have 2 times negative 1, which is negative 2. We have u times 1, so u. And then we have v to the 4th times v squared. That's v to the 4 plus 2, which is 6. And that's it. And that's all there is to multiplying monomials. If you practice this, you'll pick it up in no time, and you'll be ready to move on to the next video or topic, which is multiplying polynomials, which is very similar to what we just did. Until next time, have fun.